This is another presentation of Human Restoration when recovery is not enough, a coaching and educational platform for those struggling with behavioral, mental health, and substance abuse problems. You are not broken. You are not diseased. Let us help you recover the humans stolen from you by failed systems. This is not meant as a substitution for medical or clinical advice. If you're in treatment, seek out services from your provider and then make your own decisions. Now let's get to it. What if I told you that from the moment you were born, your mind has been systematically programmed, conditioned so that every stage of your development has been infiltrated by sciences designed not to nurture your potential, but to harvest it? Today, we're exposing the blueprint, the exact tactics used at every age to transform sovereign human beings into predictable consumers, compliant workers, and unconscious participants in their own exploitation. The stolen mind, how science became a weapon against human development. The neuroscience of control. Before we examine each life stage, you need to understand the three core sciences weaponized against humanity. 1. Behavioral neuroscience. Every notification, every advertisement, every processed food is engineered using operant conditioning principles discovered by B.F. Skinner. Variable ratio reinforcement schedules, the same used in slot machines, now power social media algorithms, targeting children as young as 2. 2. Developmental psychology. Corporations employ teams of child psychologists, not to protect children but to identify vulnerability windows, critical periods when the brain is most susceptible to programming. Erik Erikson's stages of development meant to help children are now a roadmap for exploitation. The psychophysics, the science of subliminal messaging. Studies show that stimuli presented below conscious awareness at 1/30,000th of a second bypass critical thinking and directly influence behavior. Every screen your child watches contains these invisible commands. Infancy and AMP, toddlerhood, are 3 years. The assault begins in infancy. The developing brain, 80% formed by age 3, is hijacked through what researchers call supernormal stimuli. Dr. Dimitri Christakis' research at Seattle Children's Hospital found that for every hour of daily screen exposure before age 3, there's a 10% increased risk of attention problems by age 7. The infant brain, evolved for human faces and natural rhythms, cannot process the rapid scene changes, averaging every 4 seconds in children's programming. Educational apps like Baby Einstein exploit the video deficit effect. Infants learn 6 to 8 fewer words per hour of screen time. Meanwhile, flashing colors trigger primitive orienting responses, creating what Dr. Victoria Dunkley calls electronic screen syndrome, chronic hyperarousal of the nervous system. Market smart devices to exhausted parents. Frame screen time as educational. Normalize the digital pacifier. The American Academy of Pediatrics reports 90% of children under 2 now use screens, despite their own recommendations against it. The result? Delayed language acquisition. Disrupted attachment formation. A brain primed for external stimulation rather than internal regulation. The foundation for lifelong dependency is laid before they can even speak. Early childhood, 3-6 years. By age 3, the average American child can recognize 100 brand logos, but only 10 plants native to their region. This isn't coincidence, it's cultivation. The science. The mere exposure effect, documented by Robert Zions, shows that repeated exposure breeds preference, even without conscious memory. Children exposed to food brands show increased activation in the brain's reward centers when seeing those logos, identical to addiction patterns. The tactic, pester power, generates $500 billion annually. Companies like McDonald's spend $2 billion yearly targeting children under 12. The Golden Arches theory, children rate identical food as tasting better when wrapped in McDonald's packaging. Dr. Robert Lustig's research reveals that 74% of packaged foods contain added sugars, specifically engineered using the bliss point formula, the precise ratio of sugar, salt, and fat that overrides satiety signals and triggers binge consumption. The strategy: embed products in educational content. Sesame Street's original non-commercial model abandoned for corporate sponsorship. Use host-selling, beloved characters promoting products. Deploy advergames, branded games that record 25 million child hours monthly. The result? Neural pathways for impulse control, developing in the prefrontal cortex, are actively suppressed. Children develop brand relationships before genuine friendships. The obesity rate in preschoolers has doubled since 1980. Middle childhood school, once a sanctuary for development, becomes the primary conditioning facility. The hidden curriculum teaches compliance over curiosity. The science. Dr. Peter Gray's analysis shows creativity scores have declined since 1990, while anxiety in children has increased 800%. The average child spends 7.5 hours in school plus 2 hours of homework, more than adult work weeks in many countries. The tactic: behaviorism in education, developed from Pavlovian conditioning. Bells dictate biological functions: eating, bathroom use. Reward, punishment systems override intrinsic motivation. Standardized testing reduces complex thinking to memorization. Finland's education system, ranked #1 globally, uses opposite principles. No homework until teens, 75 minutes of recess daily, no standardized tests. Their children outperform Americans in every metric while reporting higher happiness. The strategy: partner with food corporations. 80% of public schools have exclusive contracts with soda companies. Pizza is classified as a vegetable. The National School Lunch Program, influenced by agricultural lobbies, prioritizes commodity disposal over nutrition. The result: 1 in 5 children diagnosed with mental illness, 11% of children on psychiatric medications. Average attention span decreased from 12 minutes, 2000, to 5 minutes, 2020. Adolescence. The teenage brain, remodeling itself for adulthood, becomes the primary target for the most sophisticated psychological warfare ever deployed. The science. Dr. Francis Jensen's research shows the adolescent brain has heightened neuroplasticity, but an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. The amygdala, emotion impulse, dominates decision-making until age 25. Social media companies exploit this perfect storm of vulnerability. The tactic. Sean Parker, Facebook's founding president, admitted, "We built Facebook to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology." The dopamine-driven feedback loops we created are destroying how society works. Leaked documents show Instagram knew its platform caused suicidal ideation in 13% of British teenage girls and 6% of American teens. They expanded teen targeting anyway. The algorithm. Intermittent variable reinforcement, likes, comments, creates addiction stronger than cocaine. Dark patterns, interface designs that manipulate behavior. Infinite scroll, pull to refresh. FOMO engineering, stories that disappear, read receipts, active now indicators. The strategy: create identity fragmentation. Average teen curates 5 different online personas. Snapchat dysmorphia, teens seeking plastic surgery to look like filtered selfies. A TikTok's algorithm can determine depression in users within 3 hours of use, then serves increasingly extreme content. The result: teen depression increased 52% between 2005 to 2017. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24. 45% of teens report being online almost constantly. Average teen receives 237 notifications daily. Young adulthood. Young adulthood, when the brain finally matures, arrives pre-programmed for exploitation. 20 years of conditioning crystallizes into voluntary life choices. The science. The quarter-life crisis isn't natural, it's manufactured. Dr. Oliver Robinson's research shows 86% of young adults experience identity crisis, directly correlated with social media use and debt burden. The tactic: lifestyle branding. Your identity becomes your consumption. Average young adult sees 5,000 ads daily. Influencer marketing worth $21 billion. Parasocial relationships replace real connections. Dating apps use casino psychology. Tinder's algorithm deliberately shows attractive profiles you'll never match with to keep you swiping. The debt trap. Average student loan, $37,000 at 7% interest. Credit card companies target college freshmen with predatory rates. Subscription economy. Average adult has 12 subscriptions they've forgotten about. The strategy: normalize dysfunction. Hustle culture glorifies 60-hour work weeks. Therapy speak without actual healing. Perform wellness without achieving it. Gig economy promises freedom. Delivers precarity. 36% of U.S. workers now freelance without benefits. The result: 73% report constant stress about money. 61% report loneliness epidemic levels. Average age of first home purchase, 33, was 25 in 1980. 40% require parental financial support past age 25, middle age. By middle age, the cage becomes invisible. Decades of conditioning manifest as personal choices and just how life is. The science: learned helplessness. Dr. Martin Seligman's concept weaponized. After repeated exposure to uncontrollable stressors, the brain stops attempting escape even when it becomes possible. The tactic: medicalization of natural responses. 1 in 4 women over 40 on antidepressants. Testosterone replacement therapy marketed for natural aging. Diseases invented for profit. Shift work sleep disorder. Excessive eyelash loss. The US and New Zealand, only countries allowing direct pharmaceutical advertising, have 5% of global population but consume 50% of pharmaceutical drugs. The strategy: fear-based consumption. News cycles triggering amygdala activation every 15 minutes. Insurance companies profit from denying claims after decades of payments. Retail therapy, marketed as self-care. Average American has $6,000 in credit card debt. The result: deaths of despair. Suicide, overdose, alcohol increased 200% since 2000. 54% of adults read below 6th grade level. Life expectancy declining for first time in century, pre-COVID. Seniors, 55 plus years. The final harvest. After a lifetime of extraction, the elderly face systematic isolation and pharmaceutical dependency. The science: polypharmacy cascade. Average senior takes 5+ medications, each causing side effects treated with additional drugs. Dr. Shannon Brownlee's research shows 30% of seniors' medications are unnecessary or harmful. The tactic: Medicare Advantage plans that deny coverage after collecting premiums for decades. Cognitive decline from overmedication, misdiagnosed as dementia. Reverse mortgages stripping generational wealth. Social isolation, increasing mortality risk by 45%. The strategy: digital abandonment. Essential services moved online without support. Silver tsunami rhetoric, dehumanizing aging. Care facilities as profit centers. Average cost, $8,000 month. The result: 1 in 3 seniors die with Alzheimer's or dementia, many medication-induced. Elder financial abuse, $36 billion annually. 25% of seniors skip medications due to cost. Suicide rates, highest among elderly men, the blueprint exposed. The pattern is clear. Stage 1. Prime, 0 to 6. Hijack neurodevelopment, create dependency. Stage 2. Program, 6 to 18. Suppress critical thinking, normalize dysfunction. Stage 3. Profit, 18 to 55. Extract labor, maximize consumption. Stage 4. Discard, 55 plus. isolate, medicate, inherit assets. This isn't conspiracy, it's optimized capitalism. Every institution touching human development has been weaponized. Education. Pearson controls 60% of textbooks. Food. 10 companies control 90% of food brands. Pharma. 3 companies control insulin, increasing price 1,200% since 1996. Tech. 5 companies control 80% of digital infrastructure. Media. 6 corporations control 90% of media consumption. The resistance. But here's what they didn't count on: human resilience, awareness, and the internet they built to surveil us, becoming our tool for awakening. The antidotes for children: Waldorf, Montessori education, tech-free until age 12. Finland's forest schools, outdoor education showing 90% reduction in ADHD symptoms. Attachment parenting, reducing anxiety by 70% for teens. Digital minimalism movements, peer support groups replacing social media. Rites of passage programs rebuilding identity for adults. Community resilience networks, local food systems bypassing corporate control. Alternative currencies and mutual aid for seniors. Intergenerational communities, deprescribing initiatives. Wisdom councils reclaiming elder value. The science of liberation. Meditation increases prefrontal cortex density in 8 weeks. Nature exposure reduces cortisol by 60%. Community connection decreases mortality by 50%. Purpose-driven activity reverses cognitive decline. They stole our innocence. They hijacked our humanity. They turned our lives into profit margins. But consciousness, once awakened, cannot sleep again. Every parent who turns off the screen and picks up a book, every teacher who chooses curiosity over compliance, every young adult who rejects the hustle for human connection, every elder who shares wisdom instead of watching cable news is a revolutionary. The blueprint is exposed. The spell is breaking. And the most powerful technology ever created, the human spirit, is coming back online. They built a machine to consume us. We're building a movement to reclaim ourselves. Welcome to the human restoration, when recovery is not enough. Share this video. Start conversations. Build community. The revolution begins with awareness. References for fact-checking: 1. Christakis, D.A., 2009. The effects of infant media usage. What do we know and what should we learn? Acta Pediatrica. Dunkley, Vi, 2015. Reset Your Child's Brain, a 4-week plan. Lustig, R, 2013. Fat Chance, Beating the Odds Against Sugar. Gray, P, 2013. Free to Learn, Why Unleashing the Instinct to Play. Jensen, F, 2015. The Teenage Brain, a Neuroscientist's Survival Guide. 6. Parker, S., 2017. Axios Interview on Facebook's Founding. Robinson, O., 2019. Quarter Life Crisis, The Unique Challenges. 8. Seligman, M., 1972. Learned Helplessness, Theory and Evidence. Brownlee, S., 2007. Overtreated, Why Too Much Medicine is Making Us Sicker. 9. American Academy of Pediatrics Screen Time Guidelines. 10. CDC Statistics on Mental Health, Obesity, and Mortality. 11. Federal Reserve Economic Data on Debt and Wages. 12. Pew Research Center Technology and Social Media Studies. 13. WHO Global Health Observatory. Data. Share this video with someone who needs to wake up. Because the only way we break the consensus trance is together. And if you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole, subscribe and hit the notification bell. But only if you're ready for the truth about how deep this really goes. This is human restoration when recovery is not enough. Be kind to yourself.